Hey friend, welcome to 2023 again. There is absolutely monstrous hex FUD going on, and I did some digging into the person, you can actually see his username here, the person who said all this FUD. And the beautiful part about crypto is you don't have a central news source, which means there are edges, otherwise known as alpha. And you can get information if you dig. And part of your digging, actually, you're listening to me. I've done the digging for you. So if you've just come to my channel and you want to know, hey, tell me the juice. You're my friend. Tell me exactly what's going on. What information could I decipher? Is it good or is it bad? Is Hex going up or down or whatever? Okay, I can't tell you if Hex is going up or down, but I can just show you information. So this user, his name's Reemoney. Okay, he made a lot of posts here. Maybe I'll be able to show you. He made a lot of posts, and when I want you to walk through with me what happens. So if we wake up, right, and we see, let's see this. Let's go to the hex chart. Let's go all the way. Let's see what happens. See this? We see this, all right? We see capitulation. We wake up, we see capitulation. We see people making noise on Twitter. It's a scam. PulseChain's never launching. Richard Hart's a scammer, right? So our human emotion is we see red candles and we panic. I panic too, man. Do you think I want to wake up at 5 a.m., see a big fat red candle and then see this and go, oh my God, because I'm just like, man, give us a break. So one of the users who was saying the FUD is this gentleman, Reemoney. And his information's hard to decipher because I don't know if he doesn't speak English properly or he's just very hard to make use of what he's saying. But I went through his posts and we're going to go through it today. So here is my post here, and I summarize everything nice and neat and clean. All right. So there's Hex FUD going around. So Reemoney, he put $2 million into Hex at 10 cents. It turned into 10 million, but he didn't sell. The price retraces. He sells for a loss, which was last Thursday. He sold at 1.8 cents. So it goes from 10 cents to 50, down to 1.8. He sold, all right? He then tells the SEC that he got scammed. All right? True. And I'm asking you please to share this. So we're going to go through this now. So this is exactly the series of events he explains. I can't verify this on chain, okay? It's hard to communicate, but why I believe this story is maybe the numbers are fudged, but I believe this story because it doesn't incriminate anyone. This is somebody who doesn't know what's going on, who's trying to blame someone. That's why I actually believe this story, because there's actually no wrongdoing here, okay? So I mentioned there's FUD going around from a Twitter user, Reemoney. He got interviewed by the SEC. So initially, walk through this with me, right? Initially, when you read it, you think Richard Hart got told to cease all operations in 2021. So we are waking up, we're seeing red candles, and the Hex and the PulseChain community, we're reading his comments, and if you read his comments, because it's hard to make out what he's saying, he's basically saying that, like, if you read it fast, you think that the SEC themselves told Richard Hart, stop everything you're doing right now, you're going to jail, right to jail. You, sir, you're going to stop. We're coming down hard on you for scamming, right? If you read the comments properly, in detail, that's not actually what Reemoney, the user, is saying. That's not actually what happened, okay? Let's go through it. So I mentioned next, Reemoney doesn't know how to string sentences together, and everyone's misinterpreting it. Okay, so as we went through before, as a basic summary, he's calling Hex a scam because its price went down after he bought it. So I went through his posts and I'm like, oh, he must have lost money straight away, right? Wrong. Man, he made 500% first. He missed that part. He doesn't tell you that part. If you match the dates, he went up. He made 10 million. All right. I'm like when you're hearing this, you think, oh my God, something's going on. The worst is happening right now. And I'm like, okay, this can't be right. So let's go. Here are these series of events. Reemoney, he sold $2 million of Bitcoin in July of 2021. And he rotated it, $2 million straight into Hex. Okay? I'm going to show you on the chart. Let's go here. See the big fat arrow? That's Reemoney, all right? He bought here. It actually started at like 5 cents for July. Let's go back, July 1st. Okay, it started like 7, 8 cents. I'm going to give him the middle, all right? Top, 14, 8. He makes money no matter where he buys, by the way. Even if he bought the top here, literally, even if he bought the top, he still made $4.5 million. If he bought the exact top, which he didn't, okay? So no matter what happens, this guy killed it. All right, so let's continue. After buying, he then privately messages Richard Hart on Telegram saying, I just put my last $2 million into Hex, which is funny. It's like, how out of touch are you? Do you know how much money the average person has? You're like, oh, I'm down to my last $2 million, guys. That was just funny reading it, okay? But that's just me, my flavor here. That has actually nothing to do with the story, all right? So Reemoney then says he expected Richard Hart to give him private insider information, okay? He wanted RH to tell him that he's an idiot for buying now and to step back and wait. As in, he wanted to basically get an edge over the rest of the community secretly. Instead, Richard Hart messages him saying, congratulations on being rich, and then followed him on Twitter. So, the person telling the story, Reemoney, yeah, he has, you're hearing the perspective of someone who's sold at 1.7 cents at the low. He sold all his bags, okay? That's what he's saying. So, he is now saying, oh, back then, Richard should have told me to never buy in the first place because you're getting interrogated by the SEC or whatever, right? That's what he's saying, which you all know is a load of crap. Complete load of crap. So, if you buy XRP, yeah? If you buy XRP, can you go sue Ripple for not telling you that they had a private letter from the SEC a year ago? You know, or 2 or 3 years ago, whatever, you know? Can you go sue them? Can you go sue Elon Musk for dumping Tesla after telling you he wouldn't dump for 2 years? You can't do that, man. The whole world is a scam. You got to remember, everything's playing a game, all right? And the game here is delayed gratification. So let's go, okay? So I also make sure down here, all right, a note. When he bought, right, his 10 cents buy, his 2 million turned into 10 million. He didn't exit, okay? So we'll just clarify that. So let's go. We're going to move on. So this is, like, it's almost so crazy to be true, okay? So what happens next? Reemoney says he has New York lawyers from his subpoena and they told him, let's go read this quote. Richard Hart's own lawyers would have 100% told him to cease all operations because he's under investigation. So this is me paraphrasing him. So in the message, Reemoney's basically saying, if you read it properly, he says he has lawyers because he got subpoenaed, yeah? He put $2 million in. So we don't know how he got subpoenaed. And a subpoena is basically just the SEC is like, hey, we have to do a discovery process into an item, okay? People have reported something. We have to go get the information. We're representing the people. Share us all your information because we want to see where did you get the money, where did it come from, who you were talking to, right? That's what the subpoena is for. So like, hey, we request information from you. So, but the way he worded it was, he basically said that what he implied was, if you read it fast, was that the SEC themselves told Richard Hart, you're a naughty, naughty boy, stop everything right now. Stop Hex, stop everything, right? Before July 2021, which was before the PulseChain sacrifice, which means he's saying that the SEC would have told him to just stop Hex in like 2020, which we know. Oh, let's go continue, right? We know, right? First thing to consider, you cannot stop the operation of immutable code on the blockchain. Hex is an ERC20 running on Ethereum. The only way to stop Hex is to stop Ethereum. Okay? We all know this. You can't go and, how do you tell someone, stop Bitcoin? Go get every single node in the world, every miner, and tell them to stop. Yeah, go do that. It's the exact same thing. Immutable code. Okay? I'll give a pass here to the SEC and government, politician guys, because this is like, we're all learning together, guys. We're all learning. They're trying to figure this out as time goes on. They got a lot of reports. There was a lot of Reddit people soy boys on Reddit, who I listened to, who basically kept calling Richard a scammer, and they all shared screenshots of them reporting him to the SEC and FBI and Feds, saying he's going to scam. This was on the Hex launch. And by the way, from day one, it did 1,000x. From the bottom, it did 10,000x. So don't worry about the bottom, but from day one launch Uniswap, it went up 1,000x. From the car advertisements, it still went up 130x. Where they put Hex logos on car taxis. So everybody won, man. Everybody won. You can't say you didn't have a chance to win. There's a lot of bad coins out there. This is obviously nothing to do with what happened with them, right? So we're going to move on. The second thing to consider. So I'm saying this to Reemoney. Are you surprised that expensive lawyers you're paying are now grooming you into believing that you got scammed? They're siphoning money out of you. What do you expect them to say? They're not your friends. You're a dollar sign to them. So, I mean, I even continue here. You told them. So this guy, Reemoney, told his lawyers basically, hey, I had a fresh $2 million to speculate on cryptocurrency, right? And I'm saying here, they're trying to extract as much money from you as they can. I don't know if you guys have ever dealt with lawyers, man. They only see dollar signs. They see you as a ticker of like just an hourglass moving, right? How much can we bill this guy? Everyone knows it, man. Everyone knows it. And this guy actually is just basically throwing his balls out to them, and they're just exploiting him, yeah? But he thinks, okay, well, no, I got exploited by Richard Hart because I didn't sell the top. Man, like, you know, this story, right? So I ask, furthermore, I really doubt that Reemoney, he himself, told his lawyers and the SEC all the factual details, you know, about the immutable code part and about that he went 10x, 5x on side first, right? And I mentioned, you probably didn't tell them you were worth 10 million at the top, but you did not sell, right? You had access to sell on Uniswap, but you didn't. Okay? If that's what you really want to whinge about. We all know the game here is to delay gratification to 2024, 2025, 2026 onwards. We know that game, right? But this guy wants to play the trader game, you know, we'll throw him this bone, okay? So, and I also mentioned, you probably didn't tell them, this is the important part, you probably didn't tell them, if you kept your 2 million in Bitcoin, you'd be down money too, buddy. You'd be at minus 50% loss today. So Bitcoin went from 32K down to 16K today. All right? Did you tell them that part? You know? Probably didn't. So, my third point here. Reemoney admitted he sold 40 million hex for a big loss. So his numbers, right? So I've mentioned it. So you actually bought, you went plus 500% in profit, and then you came back and he sold the low. So he says last Thursday, right, in his message that he sold for 47 million hex. And I said, nobody told you to sell. Why didn't you sell the top when you had 10 million? And like, dude, the answer is you got greedy. You got greedy. If you want to, like, if you're listening out here, if you didn't sell the top, it's not because you're not greedy, okay? It's because you have a longer time focus than short-term people. So don't feel guilty with yourself. Don't be hard on yourself saying, oh, I was too greedy, I didn't sell the top. You're not going to make it in this game if you think that, all right? You should be saying to yourself, I didn't think I needed all the money then. Do you understand? But I'm trying to help you. You listen to me. We're friends, yeah? We're friends. Friends help each other. Don't be hard on yourself. You did not make some, like, grave mistake in life. Like, I got greedy. I know people who bought an Aave ICO and who sold after 10x because they thought they got greedy, but if they held, it would have been 1,000x, okay? So, it's not the same, man. You just say, I didn't think I needed the money in 2021. I thought I would need the money in 2025. That's how you think about it. So go easy on yourself, okay? But this guy, Reemoney, he's not playing that game. He bought in July, and then he's like, well, I need the money in 3 months, you know, and I didn't sell the top, okay? So we've made a clear distinction here because we're all going to make it. Part 3, I've mentioned here. We will change a color. There we go. Reemoney, this is where it gets cringy, all right? So he then tries to say that Richard Hart is cringe because he's trying to get Elon Musk's attention on Twitter, right? So I've noticed this, and it's not cringe, right? It's if you have millions of eyeballs on a certain area and you want to market something to the world, would you not go to where the eyeballs are? I would. That's what Richard Hart does, okay? So he's trying to market his philosophy to the world, and you've bought in. He's trying to market Hex and PulseChain and all the stuff he preaches. I'm not here to say the stuff he preaches is right or wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is the game, man. We're playing. This is the freaking game, man. Yeah? Elon Musk shields Tesla to the world. You know? Apple shields to the world. All these companies and all these products shield something to the world. Peter Schiff shields gold, man. Everybody's shilling something, alright? It's finance. That's the game. You don't hate the player. You gotta hate the game. Alright? But we don't have time for that philosophy. Do you wanna not play the game? Then leave. Just go leave, man. Go hold stable coins and do nothing. You'll lose to inflation, okay? So by holding stable coins, you're losing to inflation and playing the game anyway. So that's the sad part, right? So I mentioned here, Richard Hart's Richard Hart has been trying to promote this guy's bags. So he doesn't need to sell at 50 cents next time. Maybe he gets $2.50. Maybe his 10 mil could become 50 mil. But he's not thinking about that. He sold the low. Okay? And I've mentioned here, this is real, alright? Because Reemoney, you have now sold and capitulated, you're out of the game. This is a common psychological effect from investors who realize I lost and quit. So this is a very common trope in investing. When people buy, they say, this thing I bought is going to change the world. Yeah? If you notice, with Bitcoin, now that we're going to change the world, we're going to take over the US dollar. Okay. But when they sell, oh man, they're like, this is a scam. Go down, it's a scam. Why do they do that? Our brains rewire stuff to help us cope. It's a coping mechanism. When we buy, right? When we buy, we want it to go up. But if it goes down and we sell here, our brain is like trying to gather all the information of why selling was the right thing to do. And so we are just imagining in our mind the coin going down and down and down to justify it, all right? This is very, very, very common. This happens to everyone, okay? This happens to everyone. So I've even noticed if I sell a coin in the bull market, right? This is what I was doing. You check all my prophecies, right? Prophecy achieved and all the tags and everything, right? They're all legit, have all the receipts, right? When I sold in profit, I didn't want to hate the coins, right? And everyone wanted me to because they're like, do we get out? Is it crap now? And I'm like, friends, please chill out. Just because you get out doesn't mean it's crap. It just means like there's an opportunity elsewhere. It means your thing's expensive. That's all, right? I think it's expensive, or it'll be expensive in a year, all right? So I have trained myself to do that, but I can understand it's very, very, very easy to let your brain help you cope, right? Your brain will say, you had to sell because it's all a scam and you got scammed and you didn't make a wrong decision. You're not going to make it through life if every time you fail, you blame it on someone else, okay? I'm just trying to... I know everyone, you're listening to this, you don't need to be told this. I know, because everyone who listens to me and everyone who's part of my community and everyone, you're all my friends, we don't think like that, right? When we get hit, we say, it hurts, we got hit. We don't say, you're a scammer, okay? We made the decision. Just like when we win, we don't say, it was a fluke. We don't say that. We say, well, could have gone down, could have gone up. This went up. I made the decision and that was it. And then move on with your life, okay? That's the best approach to take. So I also ask some more questions, right? So we ask about this industry and everything. Note, Elon Musk pumped DOGE in 2021. Should we put him in jail? Should Elon then cease all operations at Tesla and SpaceX? Makes you think. Okay, if you're going to say Richard Hart or, Michael Saylor pumped Bitcoin at the top, right? Crushed everyone. Vitalik publicly sold on everyone. Publicly dumped. Do you put him in jail? Ripple received the inflation from XRP tokens for themselves on the escrow and then dumped 30% below market to market makers. It's true, okay? It's true. Do we put them in jail? Do we put everybody in jail who sells? No. No, we don't. What you got to do is, you're not going to, just listen to me. We're not going to change the rules, me and you. All we can do is change ourselves. That's all we can do. We can just get better at the game. So, my post here shows Reemoney's, his journey, okay? So I mentioned there's a Hex investor who turned 2 million to 10 million, all right? He didn't sell. This is actually what the chart looked like for him. So, at one point, this is what the chart looked like. And he is saying, I got scammed, man. He's saying, I got it's a scam. Yeah, everything's just a scam. Bro, Bro, you made 10 mil off this. You made 10 mil in 1, 2, oh my god. You made 10 million in 2.5 months. You're saying it's a scam. Okay. Alright. Okay. I just want everyone to think, man. These are the emotional reflections of humans when they see red candles. That's actually what's going on. You know, you're probably going to laugh at this, but I'm going to show you. He actually bought because of Elon's tweet. Right? I'm not even joking. I'm going to try to find it here. He actually bought because of Elon's tweet. This is like... I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. Okay? This was the tweet. And I'm not, this is 100, go verify yourself, man. So this tweet, Elon just posts these numbers. 48, 61. He just posts that number, that's it. He replies to this guy, and nothing to do with crypto. I need to start a tweeting option. There's nothing to do with anything. He posts these numbers. Reemoney sees these numbers, right? And he says, oh my God, these are hexadecimal numbers. So what does he go do? Bang, 2 million in a hex. Because he thought Elon Musk was moving from Doge to hex. Right? And he saw that the price reacted positively to this, and it came back, so he got in. So we can actually go and see what happened. See this pump? Elon Musk. The tweet comes back down. Yeah, I'm getting in. He actually won, man. He won. So this is the Hex Fud in a nutshell. This is actually everything that's happened. So I'm glad you're able to walk through this, and we have to see what happens, all right? So he admitted, see this little rectangle? That was him selling. He was one of the guys selling it here, all right? And yes, the price is still down, but we put it on a weekly. Okay, we put it on a weekly chart. Let's remove his entry. Let's remove his exit. You can't be thinking about even this year, man. You know, we can't be thinking of that. We think, okay, maybe we deserve to get back into this zone before the end of the year. 5, 6, 7, 8 cents. Maybe, hopefully, whatever. PULSECHAIN comes out, testnet 3. But all of these, if you're going to hold and stay in the game, they require you to delay gratification longer than freaking 3 months where you make 10 million and you don't want to get out. Right? So, it's something to think about. When you hear these people talking this or that, right? It's very easy to get lockstep in this, right? I want you to know, right? My final message is this. I've been in the game 18 hours a day for too long, all right? I don't even know how my heart's still beating at this point. I'm just telling you now, okay? Let's go to the monthly candle. I promise you. I promise you, okay? You know when these green monthly candles happen? Right here. You see this green monthly candle? And then these, I promise you. It's like the universe is so strange with this. When there are green monthly candles, there is no such thing as bad news. Ever. And if a bad news creeps in, I promise it's erased in like 12 hours, 1 day, no one cares. Everyone like absorbs it and everyone rationalizes, no, we can get through it, man. It's not the end of the world. And like, you'll be amazed. Everyone, Telegram, Discord, YouTube, Twitter, everybody is just like absorbing the FUD. It's like a human collective of the consciousness, right? And then when there are red candles, I promise you, nothing is good enough. Nothing. It's just bad news, bad news, bad news. Everything comes down. The price goes down, bad news comes out. The price comes down, bad news comes out. It's so ominous. It's so weird, man. It's just like, what is this? And I also wonder, is it my brain thinking that there's patterns? But no, man, you guys were here living it with me. It's like bad news, bad news, bad news, bad news, bad. It's like eight rounds of bad news in a row. Like, really? We've never seen that before, ever. What the hell? Like, so you lived it with me, right? So the realist in me and the optimist will say, hey, man, you know, the world, if this bad news keeps coming out, you know, we're all going to get cancer just from the blockchain. It's not going to happen, you know. We've gone too far, you know. And I know everyone's too scared to say we've gone too far. But you're seeing this Hex Fud. You're seeing people calling everyone a scammer. You're seeing everyone continuously call for low prices. But, you know, the soul-crushing thing is they are getting the low prices. That's a soul-crushing thing, right? But you're in this for the fundamentals, man. You're in this, you know that, okay, you're hearing a lot of noise and information from users saying, you know, making certain claims. And you're here, you've now learned, okay, so a lot of the explanation, he was part of the selling, you know. A lot of the explanation for this selling was, you know, this guy was a contributor. And there are other people there too. They probably share his same ability. They're like, oh, the SEC and everything's a FUD, right? So it's the same thing. When you see this candle, it's people saying they're a bad news and I will sell because price go down, you know? And they can't imagine green candles again. But we know if we just hang in there, it's going to get better. Until next time, friends, I love you all.